Welcome, friends, to the finale of Dishonored 2, You Only Live Once. Having replaced Duke Bell with his much nicer body double, we've taken from Delilah the last of her powerful supporters, the people who enabled the coup and the murders that set all these tragedies in motion. One way or another, this ends tonight. I've had a lot of good luck on this run, and by this point I've accumulated an absolutely broken level of power with stop time and all the crafted bone charms, but one mistake can still cause things to go south in a hurry, and I can't afford to get careless. There's nothing further to be learned here, just a bit of loot to get before we go, some coins in the back room, whale oil on the way forward, and angelfish scales in the kitchen. And having done all that, it's time to say farewell to our allies, board the skiff, and make our way back to the place where this all began. Here we are back in Dunwall at last, and, well, to be honest, I'm not sure I like what Delilah's done with the place. It's looking quite a bit worse for wear than when we left it, and her stewardship definitely leaves something to be desired. Now, before we do anything else, I want to run over here to grab this copper wire. And that should be just enough time for the pack of dogs to get far enough on their scripted path. Yeah, looks like there's the last one. That'll let us blink up here, get behind them, and take them all out without a fuss before they join their friends down the road. There's just a handful of things to get here in this backyard. Be honest, I'm not sure why people keep storing things here, they just get stolen. Before I do anything else, I want to make a couple of bone charm changes. First, I'm going to make a new copy of Spirited, which I was a bit hasty in breaking down. It's a loss of one whalebone since you get less back than you need to craft one, but that's fine. With this, a single potion will refill almost an entire boosted mana bar instead of maybe just a third of it, and that's something I'll want during this next sequence. More importantly, I'm finally going to craft Relocation Sickness. While I've got this on, anytime a witch teleports, she has a high chance of stumbling off balance for a few seconds. If I'm close to them, it means I can just grab them and choke them out. But if they're up on some high place and they fall, well, their death is not my fault as far as chaos is concerned. And I'm all good with that. Thus equipped, I'm now going to do something that will no doubt strike you as odd. And I promise there's a good reason. We'll stop time and rush ahead. And we'll take out these two dogs along the way so they're not a nuisance later. These are the ones that the other pack would have joined if we hadn't taken them out before.
That's a shame.
Some of you might have recognized the song that I've been using in the intro. It's called Brigmore Lullaby, and you'll hear the version I use at the very end of the credits roll when you finish the game. But if you've never waited through the credits, the version you might be more familiar with is the one you're hearing now, sung by one of the witches over the city's PA system. What you might not know is that this isn't just a sound effect. She's here in the city, and you can find her. I can't tell you how much I wish I had the Sparta kick from Deathloop right now. And although I could just wait for her to finish singing and despawn herself, I rather like this song. I like to think that I'm doing my part for Dunwall by putting her to sleep.
People of Dunwall, I've spent decades of my life defending this city, but I failed you, and a usurper took the throne from my daughter, Emily Caldwin. Under Delilah, you've endured much, but now I've returned, and I will expend my last breath, returning your rightful empress to her throne, and restoring stability and peace to your lives. On this, I, Corvo Atano, swear.
As you saw, that's going to bring a couple of witches this way. However, there's a very good chance that one or both of them won't make it. The relocation sickness will cause them to take a fatal fall.
Delilah.
I thought I saw someone right here.
Nope. Nothing. having dealt with them, let's grab some loot in here. There's really not a whole lot, and the safe room appears to be blocked off, but one of the witches has kindly left a black bone charm up here for us. Void armor. You know, if I hadn't gotten witch's skin very early on, I'd probably be pretty pissed off right now, because void armor, well, it's essentially the cheap version of witch's skin. Let me take a look at it here. Yeah, when you take damage, a significant portion is instead subtracted from mana. A portion, not all of it. Now, of course, it doesn't have the downside of disabling your mana regeneration, but again, we don't care about that on this run. And with all that out of the way, I do want to call attention to an alternate route that I could have used here in the very beginning of the run. No upgrades are needed in order to climb up onto this roof, and you can safely drop back down on the other side. And what that does is it gives you access to a balcony across the way where you can actually drop down on one of the guards who's a bit of a pain in the ass. The problem with it is that route has risks, among those being that the guard who paths up from the checkpoint down here and the guards who spread out from there, they all end up wandering in inconvenient ways, and it's really just not optimal, at least as far as I'm concerned. Now tonight, all we've got is this one witch across the way, and aside from hitting her with a sleep dart and watching her fall to her death, about the best way to handle her in low chaos, at least for Corvo, is going to be to just stop time and rush over. And I'm gonna have to be very careful about doing that so I don't fall, because even a lightweight would not help me. There we go. She's not gonna fall, right? Yeah, no, that's stable. And we've got an eviction notice here for some poor woman who's being cheated out of her home, it sounds like. All right. Now in here, we've got a couple of howlers who are looting this building. And let's see where they are. Okay, good. That's just about exactly what we want. Let's drop this guy. And then roll up on this guy quickly, because he will turn around at some point. Alright, and just a couple things in here, I think, wasn't there? Yeah, some copper wire down there. But of course, the real treasure in here is behind this secret area. And I think, yeah, they've got a clue to the secret area in the diary here. But, seems that this gentleman was a fan of The Outsider.
Let's see how that serves you in the tower, where you and Jessamine fell in love.
Jessamine?
Delilah's got the throne and your daughter. But now she's got a secret as well.
Alright, and that gives us 2 runes, along with a little bit of treasure here. Nothing we really care about aside from some coin. Oh, we just got 2 runes, so that's not really going to do a whole lot of good. Can't really do anything with that for now, and honestly, we're pretty good as far as powers. There's just one thing that I want to get, but it can wait. Okay, and very carefully, let's just blink across here. And say hi to the nice gentleman who we saved here in the very beginning.
Lord Protector, you're alive. It's been almost 2 months, hasn't it?
Something like that.
I went back home to Serkonos to strike against those supporting Delilah, the architects of the coup against Emily.
And were you successful? Things are a mess here.
I know how to beat Delilah now. I'm going to topple her and find a way to help my daughter retake her throne.
That's the best news I've heard in a long while. You'll have my support. Whatever you need, just ask.
Once it's safe, just tell the public what happened. If I come out on top, I'll invite you to Dunwall Tower to conduct an interview.
And of course, we would not have had that conversation if we had not saved him in the beginning. In fact, there would have been enemies in here. And I think he's just got a handful of things to get right. There's some coins I thought I saw. Some bullets over there. Yeah, coins on the corner here. Okay, and there's no need for stealth at this point. And out here in the alley, if you do intend to rob the black market shop, you'll need the key that's behind these bottles. This fellow looks like he's seen better days.
Who are you?
I'm an agent of the true Empress, Emily Caldwin.
Thank the stars for that. I've been hiding here since the coup. Not long ago, someone came by in the dead of the night, pushing a carriage toward the tower. Looked like bones. Maybe from a whaling slaughterhouse. No idea why Delilah would want that.
Thanks for what you've told me. Stay hidden for a few more days. Maybe things will get better after that.
And we've got a note here from the housekeeper for Dr. Galvani. It's hinting at where you might find a way to unlock this place. And unfortunately, it is on her dead body. Now you might remember that back in the beginning, I deliberately chose not to rob the safe in this building. That fact is the reason I was just able to walk in here safely. And if we rob the safe, Galvani gets really salty about it, and he sets explosive traps here in this hallway. Problem is, they've got the same faulty trigger conditions as the others we've seen, so it's impossible to set them off remotely. As soon as you're standing in the doorway, they're scripted to fire. It's incredibly cheap, and I'm not playing along with that kind of garbage. And if you need it, the code is right here, and for those who don't know, this code, 451, has been a running Easter egg going all the way back to, I believe, is the original System Shock. There's some excellent videos about the history out of it if you search YouTube. But in short, some of the devs who made System Shock went on to make well-known classics like Deus Ex, Thief, and BioShock. And some of those people went on to work at Arcane. It shouldn't surprise anyone then that you'll find this code in the original Dishonored as well as in other Arcane games. Deathloop had a cheeky reference on the very first keycode, and Prey used it as the code for Morgan's office. Prey is great, that's another one I'd love to play on the channel someday, but that's going to require a hardware upgrade for me. And there's nothing really in here except for looks like some whale oil that I think, my guess is that the overseers were encamped here. This looks like a lot of military cots and baggage, and they've got a plan for the tower here. My money's on overseers.
Third brick down, fifth over. Oh, but you've hit 3 and I've only hit 1.
They're easy enough to take care of. All right. And then finally, as far as enemies are concerned, I believe there's 3 howlers up here. Now, one of them is going to be sleeping here. Yeah. The others, however, are keeping a vigilant watch. So he can go down. This guy is less vigilant. And then we can just make sure that this one stays napping. And there's a sleep dart up here, but I did not end up consuming any. Less lucky needle. I think that's it in here, isn't it? Right. Yeah, it's just that sleep dart. And then we just got a handful of them in here. Oh, I just noticed that I'm moving very slowly. And that is because I forgot to re-equip Swift Shadow. I'm going to leave relocation sickness on because we're still going to be dealing with some witches after this. Ah, that's much better.
After the big fight between those overseer hard asses and Delilah's girls.
Now be careful when grabbing these coins because it's very easy to accidentally trigger this thing and that'll make a lot of noise.
You just spent 6 years at the Academy of Natural Philosophy. Hey!
Don't lose your shit over a joke, Daniel. We're gonna sell it. Must be worth a lot of coin.
And I don't think I feel like wasting any real time with these guys. We've got plenty of sleep darts, so you can go down, and you can go down, and you can go down. And did not get one back, but that's fine. We've got one up in that Howler apartment. and it was very nice of them to concentrate all the loot in small areas for me to efficiently get. Very courteous, those howlers. I'll just take that back.
Everything's gone to the void here. Can't hurt to be stocked up.
Excuse you. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so now we have a very important choice to make. The blueprint that I picked up back on the Dreadful Whale gives us a choice between moth dust wrappings, which makes us less visible in well-lit areas, and collector's carapace, which is damage resistance. Now, you would think that the obvious choice for this run would be the collector's carapace, but that's not necessarily the case, and to be honest, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do about it, because there's an argument to be made that not being seen is its own form of damage mitigation. This is going to only really come into play if I really screw up. Now, granted, if I really screw up, I'm going to wish I had it, but this could keep that screw up from happening in the first place. So I think I'm going to stick with my usual and go with moth dust wrappings. I think that's the right play. And just a quick look through here. I don't really need that grenade upgrade. That's fine.
My door's always open.
Now let's run out back here. Now, this being a black market, they have a delivery boat. And thankfully, this one does not require swimming. And they've got a very nice amount of goodies in here, including some whalebone. So, if you want to rob the black market, get that key and come in here. There's honestly really not a lot of point by now, unless you just really have not been collecting anything. But if you really need the money, then it's there for you.
I like how you spend.
I bet you do. Okay, now let's have that rune.
That deal.
Now, the key to the City Watch Armory. To be honest, this is not usually worth getting.
Take a risk just having the goods delivered here.
There is some loot to get in the armory. The thing is, the main use for it is to gain access to the canal entrance, which is a back way up to the palace. And honestly, I just don't really think it's worth it. But I'm going to get it anyway so I can show it to you.
Glad we could do business.
And I think I am well stocked in every other way. So let's just replenish elixirs and be on our way.
Next time you need something.
All right. Now, as I said, there is some treasure in here. It's not completely worthless. I just don't think it's really worth what they're asking. The main value in it is the access to the canal. And this is that back canal entrance that I was talking about. It's very much a Half-Life 2 mood here. The route itself is not useless. It does get you past a bunch of stuff, and it does get you right up to where you need to be. The problem is that the path to getting there, well, you can probably see the problem. It involves a lot of swimming, and that's just a huge nope for me. You can, if you're very careful about it, you can manage to blink your way all the way out here, and you can just about get to that buoy, which, by the way, you can't actually perch upon effectively. You can also try scrabbling along here, but you're going to be slipping all the way, and you pretty much just have to chain blink your way across there. It's not a good route. The only reason that would ever get me to do it is if it got you access to any kind of Easter eggs or secret, but Coldridge Prison is not accessible. It's just scenery. Ah, get me out of here, fuck. Anyway. We won't be doing that. Well, the gates have definitely looked better. Now, the gates themselves are sealed, and you can open them. It requires powering them up, and that requires filling up a whale oil dispenser. Here's the problem. That requires filling up a whale oil dispenser, and I don't like messing with whale oil. It is a good way to get yourself blown up. So, what I am instead going to do is first let's go check over here because there's a dying overseer who has something to say to us.
I saw the High Overseer fall. All is lost. Leave this place.
The Abbey assaulted the tower.
Somehow we were overcome. Not just Delilah's sorcerers and their gravehounds, but mechanical men. Automated soldiers. The ancient music was useless against them.
Rest now. But know that I'm going to end Delilah's reign. I swear it.
At death's door, I smell the corruption of the void upon you. A heretic against a heretic. Laughable. The world is doomed.
Yeah, same to you. Funny thing, he does not actually say that if you go in no powers mode. So there's something to what he said, because if you have gone with no powers, if you do not accept the mark of the outsider, then he'll say something that's more along the lines of wishing you well. But no, he can tell that you're using black magic somehow. So that's unfortunate for him. Now, what we're going to instead do is blink up here. Now, and we're going to try not to screw that up. Now, what I was about to say is that down here in the tunnel, there are some of those vine creatures that the witches summon. We don't have to deal with them. They do not count as enemies that need to be taken out, because as summoned creatures, they will disappear as soon as the summoner does. Or rather, as soon as the summoner loses their powers or gets knocked out or killed, etc. Okay, did not get the sleep dart. Now in here, we have, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 witches who are, well, they're engaged in witchy things, apparently. And this room can be a little bit of a pill to take out, so I've got a way that I like to do it. Now let's see if I can pull it off. First, let's stop time, and then let's just drop down here, and right there on the ceiling, and I'm going to knock her out for good measure. And then back up here.
Make the pigments block the wind. Fingers stain blue and blush. Conjure rainbows for her brush.
My placement must have been off. That did not work as well as I'd hoped it would.
Grind and wash rich material. Two hands sift.
That animation could have gone better. Okay, well, it all worked out. Now, fortunately, we've got an Adamar solution in here and a bone charm over here. Let's see what we've got. Restorative Glimmer. Literally cannot equip it because it would give me back health if I go into dark vision. So that's great. All right. Oh, we've got a very, very handy faucet here because there's a bunch of witches out here that can be enormously challenging to take out cleanly. However, we are going to do some extreme shenanigans. So if I can manage to do this right... There's a gravehound out there, and if there's any other witches, they should not have any idea what happened. Okay, good. Looks like the gravehound is wandering around now.
What?
Oops. That was a bit too soon that I opened that door there. Okay, that's fine. We'll just do the same thing again. Ah. Nope, I bumped into her, so she's been activated. Okay. That's fine. If she teleports in here, there's one charge left on the stun mine. Got that gravehound out there. I think she just saw a body. Just figured it out, did you?
Wake up, sister.
Okay, keep wandering around.
Thank the void. She's alive.
Go to sleep. Okay. And I think that should have been all of the threats out in that main open area. Yep. That's all good. And I think the ones who were up there came to... Oh, nope, nope, nope. There's one left. Okay. In that case, let's sneak around this way. And fortunately, she is always facing that direction, as far as I know. And that should let us get up behind this other one. Yep. All right. Now, there's a couple more down in that building. We'll take care of them on the way back. For now, however, I think I next want to take out the ones over here. Actually, let's get fully replenished. And I think if I get up on this, I can reach over there. There we go. Now, if you hit these guys with a sleep dart or chloroform or anything like that, there's a non-zero chance, in fact, a very high chance that they're going to fall into the fire. So, we are instead going to utilize our good friend Stop Time. And we're going to take advantage of strong arms as well, because I don't think that we could have managed all three of them without it. And that should pull them all away from the fire. Let's just make sure she's a safe distance. Okay, and as far as these unactivated gravehounds go, they are easy enough to take out. All right. And then I believe over here, there is a couple of witches with a gravehound. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Memory's doing well so far. Can't always say that. I think... Okay, so that one, if I hit her with a sleep dart, she's falling. She's totally falling. This one, however... Yeah, that'll do. Wow. That was a fantastic physics thing. Oh! When did I turn on kill cams? I don't remember turning on kill cams, but okay. Let me fix that real quick. No, that is absolutely not what I want. I never want kill cams on. It was kind of cool, but it's not a thing that I want interrupting gameplay. All right. That was slightly messy, but managed. But, oh, hi. Oop. Oops. Okay. Wrong key, but that's fine. It was managed. Not really loving how few sleep darts I'm left with, though. Okay, let's take out some Gravehounds. Oh, damn it. Looks like depth of field got turned back on. I know you've heard me complain about depth of field. Basically, the problem with it is that it involves a game making what are usually very bad assumptions about where the player's eyes are based on where the cursor is. And, well, for some people, that's genuinely uncomfortable. Like, it causes me eye strain because my eyes keep automatically trying to focus on things that are blurry. Absolutely hate it. And I think one is looking out this way, yeah. Just wait for her to turn around.
It shouldn't be. No one's been coming up to Redhaven of late.
There we go. And, yeah, this note, the witches have very active fantasy lives. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Oh, Swift Stalker. There we go. That is one that I would have liked to have had a very long time ago. That essentially increases your movement speed while your weapons are sheathed. And that's actually quite good. It's actually quite good. There's one more witch down here. I think. Oh, freaking depth of field. Excuse me. Oh no, maybe the one that was there is one that I baited up. Okay. Yeah, I think she's the one who got baited up here, who I wasn't expecting. Oh. Dead witch with a sleep dart in her. Yeah, she got killed by the physics freaking out. Yeah. Okay. And there are two witches, as I mentioned, back up here. First, oh, yes.
For Jessamine is endless.
Yes, it is, but I took out these Gravehounds and forgot to grab the painting over here. That's very important.
Is all dried out, but that makes it easier to collect. Less messy. You can still smell it.
How much of the algae does our Lady Delilah want? And what's it
Okay,
for?
I'm waiting for one of them to not be watching the other. Okay, so now she is turned around. Alright, that's about enough out of you. That will do. Oh, got a mana potion over here. Good. And another one, along with a rune and the diary of some poor fellow who just worked here. Alright, I think the only remaining enemy on the outside is going to be a Gravehound over here. And they are very easily dealt with. Yeah. In fact, wasteful, but satisfying. Alright, I'm going to do a quick check, but I believe that is going to be all external enemies. And all collectibles as well. Yep. So now, since there's really no reason not to, I'm going to very quickly sacrifice the charms that need to be. And I think I can sacrifice Familiar Scent as well. Not going to use that. Void Armor, that can go away. I'm not going to need to worry about falling damage anymore. And then I'm actually going to make a copy of Swift Stalker. And then just for the moment, I am going to equip it and Undertaker. Yeah, I will actually equip in place of strong arms for the moment. That's one I'll notice that I'm not using in a real hurry. Okay. And since I've burned through a lot of supplies in this outside area, I'm going to use that run speed to dash back to the black market and top off one last time. Just grab a body. And now we're traveling at warp speed.
Come in, my friend. I like how you spend. Come back next time you need something.
And then let's grab our body for warp speed and dash right back. And as far as I'm concerned, overseers aren't good for a whole lot, so it's nice that I'm going to get some use out of this one.
To restore power to the elevator, I'll have to reach the security room.
We won't actually be doing that. The elevator's not all that useful. Now, unfortunately, these two witches do not separate in any useful way. There's really just no elegant way to take them out, so it's kind of just brute force like this. Oh, I did not, Can I please? Thank you. Damn choke prompts sometimes. No, I was about to say that I did not put back on strong arms. So let's do that right now and get our bone charms set back up the way they need to be. Now, it looks like this area is completely clear, and it mostly is. However, that little shimmer over there, they've got a trap waiting for you. And fortunately, taking it out does not involve alerting anyone.
Throne room. I can use the elevator to reach her.
Yeah, we won't be doing that. Unfortunately, the High Overseer hasn't had a great time, but he's got a couple of bone charms. Ones which are completely and utterly useless. To me, anyway. That's right. Okay, that's right. I like going down through the lower passage. There's a couple of witches up above. Yeah, one of them is looking over here and tossing out some trash, but she's going to turn around momentarily. Okay, there she is. That will do. Let's see, where's this? Okay, that's out into the hallway. Yeah. Now open this up just in case I need to go there. Can't imagine I'd need to go back down, but you never know. Okay. Now there's a couple of witches and a clockwork out here. And they can be really tricky.
Strange how it moves. Like a man, but not like a man.
Oil runs through its veins, rendered from the fat of leviathans from the deep, icy waters.
It has nothing to do with our mistress's magic. Not touched by the void at all. Could we make one of bones, I wonder? Like Gravehound.
Wait till this guy is just around the corner from those witches. They will not see me take him out. And unfortunately, again, these two just never move or separate. They're just going to always sit there watching each other, so really about all you can do is brute force it. But that's fine. And then down here, there's going to be a rune in the basement, down where the torturer used to be. It's very easy to grab here. Now, the way to power up the elevator is to fill one of these whale oil tanks and slot it in there. We are not going to do that for two reasons. One, because it involves playing with whale oil, and that is a thing that I do as little as possible. And the other reason is because once we power up the electricity, that's going to spawn a bunch of witches that simply will not exist in the level if you don't do that. And why would I create more enemies in a run like this? So no, we're not going to do that. Now, there's a clockwork here and can be tricky. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. Now, it often looks to the left here. I just need to make sure it has not done. And then back off before they catch the attention of anyone in that dining room.
Why is there a tree in the middle of the chapel?
Well, Delilah appears to be into botany in some way.
Delilah's new painting sounds dangerous, but I might be able to sabotage it. With more corrupt runes, maybe I could turn Delilah's painting against her.
Indeed. And that is our non-lethal route.
I was able to transpose the chapel made of paint with the one made of stone. With more runes, I should be able to do the same to all the Empire. This will be my greatest
There we go.
undertaking.
Oh, hush.
The world as it should be.
Another form of control. Just a choke chain around our pretty necks.
No, there's where your ignorance shows. Etiquette is a weapon, a source of power for those who know how to wield it.
Okay. There are a bunch of witches in here, and I think the play is probably to do this, because there's also a clockwork right here. And if we just slap down a stun mine, the area effect might get all of them in one.
General detection state.
No, looks like the clockwork burned through that. That's fine. Oh, wow. All right, then. Oh. Ah, fuck. And yet another physics death. Outstanding. That was sloppy. All right, then. Oh, that's fine. That could have gone better, but it got the job done. And we're so close to the end, I'm not too worried about using up extra resources. I believe that's everyone downstairs. Actually, you know what? Let me just make sure really quick. Yep, and that's back where the kitchen was. So we've cleared this lower floor. Now let's not get seen by him. Unfortunately, he's headed back in that direction. I was hoping he'd be coming towards me. That's fine. There's a witch down there. She's one of several. But we don't need to worry about that too much. Now, if we deal with him down here, he should be out of sight of any witches who might take issue with it.
Playback for detection registered.
No, you don't. Yep, we're good. Okay. What's the best way to do this? I think wait till she is turned completely around in her stroll. There we go. And get her out of sight of the one down the hall. I think there are 3 in here. Yeah, at least 3. So... Or am I in stun mines? Actually, I'm alright. And then there's a couple more just outside of this door. But not anymore.
They'll pay for what they've done to the tower.
Done with you as well. Love that. Okay, and in this hallway, I believe there's a couple of gravehounds and a witch all the way at the other end. And a couple of witches in side rooms, if I'm not mistaken. I'll mind potions. 6? Yeah, that's fine. Now this room here is blocked off, but it's actually quite easy to get into. And that'll get you access to this poor fellow, as well as the bone charm, which you should definitely pick up before starting his cutscene so you don't have to listen to it.
Please don't tell anyone I'm here. I've been in here keeping quiet since this all happened.
Don't worry. But what do you know about Delilah and her people?
After the coup, there was more fighting between the Duke's traitors and the members of the Watch still loyal to the old Empress. Then there was a party for Delilah, just before the Duke returned to Serkonis. At some point, the Overseers staged an assault, but it went badly.
What else?
Apparently, Delilah's been working in the Abbey Chapel, preparing something. If you're crazy enough to want to find her, look there, or in the throne room. She and the Duke were talking about a painting.
Stay hidden. I'm here for Delilah. I'm going to take back the tower.
I hope you're right. 3 of us hid here. Genevieve got caught, then Morgan. Now it's just me.
Don't worry, buddy. We're on it. Not a lot in here other than that bone charm and some supplies that I don't really need at this point. Now, as far as that bone charm goes, what was that? What did we just pick up? Didn't see. Fire starter. Blah. No, thank you. All right. Yep. I don't mind that the Gravehound saw that. it is. And similarly for this one down here. There we go. Okay. And then witches in the side rooms. Yes. Yeah, there's one right there. Boy, I am all about hitting the wrong keys today. Albinos. Eh. I'll take that. And then one in here. Maybe. Okay, no. No, it's just the one. Well, folks, I think we have just about done it. So I think that witch may have been the last enemy in this area. All right. And there's no more collectibles. I am going to take a quick... That's just the civilian, it's fine. I'm going to take a quick run around the palace. And before we head up to meet Delilah, I'm going to make absolutely sure that there are no remaining enemies and no remaining loot to get. And yeah, if we had turned on the power, there would be several witches who would have spawned out here in this main area, and they'd be patrolling and we'd have to take them out. But because we did not turn on the power, they don't exist. And we don't have to take out things that don't exist. I'm going to pass on talking to Delilah's statues. She doesn't have anything all that interesting to say. Honestly, I think half of Delilah's diatribes you could replace with the script from a Saturday morning cartoon. And that is it. Now, we have to find a way up to Delilah. And ostensibly, the only way is by powering up the elevator. That is, in fact, not the only way to get to her. You might, if you'd played the original game and were quite thorough, you might remember that Jessamine had a safe room of her own. A little secret area inside this fireplace.
Jessamine's old secret chamber leads up to the throne room.
Indeed. We'll take her stuff. And use this very familiar looking lock.
You will take me back and die at my hands.
I think things are not going to play out the way you expect.
Is this Ramsey?
Yep. Looks like he got more or less what he deserved, because when Delilah finally managed to get around to sending someone in here to check... Now, before you leave the safe room, don't forget one very important thing if you're looking for the souvenirs, and that's the very final one. If you played the original Dunwall City Trials, then you might remember the dolls. Now, it's not always the case, but sometimes there are gravehounds that spawn in here. Yep, looks like we got some. That's fine, they're asleep. And they are easily dealt with, as long as you're vigilant. Now, strictly speaking, we don't have to take them out because they're summons. Like I said, summons disappear when the witches that summoned them are taken out. But I'd just as soon be thorough here. We've got stuff to use, and I'd rather not have them causing a fuss. Not when we are so close. I've seen people try to fight her, but that is not the play. Really, all you have to do is aim the heart at her and click.
My spirit returns to the canvas, and I will show you my vision.
And the heart fades away into void dust. And that has now set up the final confrontation.
What has Delilah done to the throne?
Now, before we go on, let's sabotage her little project. Now, we're just about ready to confront Delilah, but there's one thing we have to do first. We have not yet taken out all enemies. If you made your way up here through the elevator, there are 2 witches up here on the ramparts. And while from a lore standpoint, I'm not too concerned about it because we know the witches do lose their powers when Delilah does, the rules of the run dictate that they are a human enemy, and human enemies must go down. But having done that, we have effectively taken out all of Delilah's followers, all of her lieutenants, her entire base of support. She has nothing left but this painting, and we're about to give it to her permanently.
So she'd replace all the world with this.
Yep. Not exactly what I would call an optimal outcome. Now, Arcane has set up a potentially lengthy boss battle here, with multiple phases where you have to fight a series of Delilah's shadow clones, as it were. Now, those clones are scattered around this audience of statues, and they'll aggro if you see you. You can hear them humming if you're close enough, and you can pick them out by the way that their textures shimmer. And with care, it is possible to stealthily pick them off one by one. It's also possible for a single mistake to blow your stealth and trigger the boss battle, and I can't afford to take that risk in a permadeath run. So we're going to nope out of that battle entirely, because true to form, Arcane have provided one last alternative solution for taking out our target. And that's locating where the real Delilah is hiding.
If I put Delilah on the throne, the painting should trap her in her own fantasy world.
Which Corvo knows somehow, because reasons. Because magic works in predictable and logical ways. But alright, we'll leave that alone. And I don't believe it's possible to aggro them after you've knocked her out. But all the same, let's make our way inside and finish this off. And with the corrupted rune in place, it's time to dump the world's largest natural supply of butthurt onto the throne and make her a permanent resident of her own fantasy world.
You have no idea what you've done. This is everything I wanted. I see it all. I've won. Now, what's always been marred and distorted will be perfect.
So long, Delilah. You were a weak antagonist the first time around, and turning you into the personification of a Reddit thread hasn't improved you. In case you were wondering, the answer to that thread is, yes, you were the asshole of the story. And it's time to reawaken Emily, but there's one thing that you'll want to do if you plan on doing a New Game Plus playthrough, and that's break down every last bone charm in your possession, every single one, and use them to craft runes, then spend every one of those runes. Why? Because when you start New Game Plus, you carry over 3 things from your completed save. Any upgrade blueprints you found, any bone charm traits you've learned, and, most importantly, a refund of every rune you spent on abilities. But that's the catch. You have to have spent those runes. Doesn't matter what you spend them on, just that they're spent. Any left over are lost. New Game Plus is a lot of fun, where you get to choose from the powers of both Emily and Corvo, and use all the stuff I just mentioned as soon as you meet the Outsider. But if you don't care about New Game Plus, you don't need to do this. And with that, let's reawaken our daughter. Somehow, I'm guessing through the power of love or some such, and check our final mission stats.
Emily.
Father, what happened?
Take it easy. I'll explain everything.
Alright. But a couple of kills, and both of those were from physics bullshit. And one last time, we've gotten every single one of the required collectibles, and we still ended up with more than 75% of the coins, so I'm good with that. As for special actions, we searched Megan Foster's captain aboard the Dreadful Whale and found out what her secrets were. We trapped Delilah forever within her own painting, which hopefully will stick this time. We searched the Royal Protector's chambers within Dunwall Tower, rescued Emily, and taunted the witches over the PA system. And all that only took an hour and 40 minutes, which will probably get edited down significantly. So, without further ado, let's receive our reward of the low chaos cutscene.
And so a man born with the face of the Duke took his seat in Karnaca, ruling with empathy for those not born in a palace. The people were surprised by this sudden turn, but did not question their good fortune. In Dunwall, without ever realizing it, Delilah passed into an imagined world where her father's promises were fulfilled and her subjects would love her forever, as she sailed the ocean with a great fleet and trekked across the Pendician wastes. While in the true capital, Emily the Just, Emily the Clever, ruled for decades over a prosperous, mended empire with Corvo Attano by her side. In his day, Anton Sokolov fired the engines of industry, hurtling the empire into a more sophisticated age. He dallied with nobles, wayward artists, and great inventors alike, drinking in all that life could offer. Leaving Dunwall for the last time, he headed to the cold north, contented at last, on a final voyage to take him home. There are things that never change, no matter how hard you try. Questions you must answer. As Megan Foster faded from the world, Billy Lurk stepped from her shadow, setting out to discover her truest self, and seeking the closest thing she'd ever known to family.
And as Karnaca street musicians play a chipper song about firing squads and despotic dukes, it's time to wrap up the conclusion to Dishonored 2, You Only Live Once. For the most part, this rule set is very familiar territory for me, not all that different from what I usually play for fun. Low chaos, all enemies and collectibles, and custom difficulty with no mono regen. But permadeath isn't usually my jam. I play games for fun, not to have them repeatedly punch me in the face for not being perfect. So although I've completed Iron Mode once before in New Game Plus, I've never done a standard playthrough of it from zero. As you've seen, I'm not a perfect player. I don't have the reflexes and precision of someone like, say, Stealth Gamer BR, and I fumble keys or make other mistakes in the moment. And mistakes, in a YOLO rule set, are something you don't always come back from. But I did it. We did it. The reason I always use inclusive language when narrating is because to me, this is something we do together, like friends hanging out on a couch. And for decades, that's what my best friends and I did for fun, either passing the controllers around or, my usual role, being the co-pilot with a factor walkthrough while someone much better at the game plays it so that I can enjoy it vicariously. So yes, we did this. Without you, this series would just be a guy posting self-indulgent gameplay video for his own amusement. And without an audience, a community, I might not have had the motivation to push past all the technical roadblocks that cropped up when recording this game for the first time. Thank you to everyone who's watched, liked, commented, or subscribed. Both the subs who showed up for YOLO, as well as the ones who originally came for Stalker Anomaly and have been waiting very patiently for me to get back to it. But don't worry, that's coming up next. Thanks go as well to my friend Blondie, whose channel I've mentioned and linked before. I'm really grateful for the strong support. But most of all, thank you to Arcane. Both Arcane Lyon, who made this game, as well as the Austin studio, which made the original Dishonored. You're helping keep the torch burning for the immersive sim genre, and the Dishonored series stands among the greatest of those. I've been playing them for 10 years, and there's a good chance I'll still be playing them a decade from now. I'd like to do other Arcane games on the channel at some point. Dishonored, of course, but I also mentioned Prey, which is an incredible game with lots of replay value, and quite possibly one of the best immersive sims in sci-fi ever made. Definitely a worthy successor to System Shock, for sure. I'll need to upgrade before doing that, though, but that's alright. It's time I got back to Anomaly on the channel. As I mentioned before, that will take some time to put together, especially with me starting a new job in a few weeks. We'll look forward to a new Anomaly video on the channel soon, and in the meantime, hop over to Blondie's channel if you haven't. He has you covered for Anomaly content. I hope you've enjoyed this series as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, kindly like and subscribe if you have not already, and click the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
We'll slip on to